Ken Bassman, thank you very much for being part of Exo Leaders, being part of this book. I know the people that are watching want to learn more about you. We've prepared a few questions for you to get to know you a little bit better and your background and how you think. It's all about sharing ideas and experiences. So Ken, tell me a little bit about yourself that not many people might know.
Well, I would say I am a world-class hand walker.
Wow.
Well, years ago, I've been a martial artist for a long, long time. And years ago, I figured I've got pretty good balance, and something led me to try a handstand, and then I could kind of keep going. So I've had a lot of fun with that over the years with various friends and unexpected events, whatever they may be, embarrassing my family, challenging people, sometimes even hustling and making a few bucks, betting somebody, hey, you know what? Bet you I could walk on my hands from here to that thing about 50 yards away, and people pretty much always take me up on that.
Yeah.
And at 60 years old, I can still move on my hands.
Wow. I'd buy you a beer definitely just to see it, Ken.
You've got a deal.
Tell
I'll
me.
even do it in the bar.
Oh, good. Tell me about your organization, Ken.
Sure. We have really a pretty great company. It's called Bassman Blain. Yeah. And our tagline, which I love, is a multifaceted design and home furnishings corporation. We are, like the tagline says, very multifaceted. We're in several different divisions of our industry, both home furnishings and design. So we have a sales agency, a sales management business. We have showrooms. We have a full service interior design firm that does amazing projects all over the world. A consultancy. We work with a number of companies, helping them shape their business model and their strategy and bringing their products to market, and a number of other different things within that umbrella.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm Danish, so furniture is ingrained in Danish. Hygge. I don't know if you know the concept. So is it more B2B? Is it more B2C?
We're primarily B2B, except in our interior design division, where we do work with clients as well.
Okay.
But all the other efforts are within the industry, servicing the home furnishings, retailers, e-tailers, hospitality, interior designers, design firms, things like that.
Okay. How many people are you in your company?
We have low 50s right now,
Okay.
about maybe 51, 52 that are on our team, on our payroll, and then we work with about 100 sales reps outside of our organization as well that contract through us.
Okay, very good. Ken, you lost your mother at a young age.
I did.
How did that affect you?
That's a big question. I could cop out and say I'm not sure, but if I really wanted to think about an answer, I would say it made me, for better and for worse, pretty darn self-reliant, having to figure out a lot of things on my own. I have one brother, he's 13 months older.
Okay.
I had a wonderful dad who's passed, but he was a traveling sales rep in our industry, which is my entree into it.
Okay.
He was gone quite a bit, and he was on the road, and he wasn't particularly that engaged in day to day. And I, along with my brother, had to figure out life. And had my mom not passed, I don't know that we would have had that opportunity. So not that I would wish that upon me in retrospect, or really anybody for that matter. However, I'm a big quote and cliche guy. And one thing I like to say, which I'm going to steal from my friend Tony Robbins, it's life is happening for you and not to you. Right. So that the opportunity or the silver lining is it made me exceedingly self-sufficient.
Well, thank you for that. You went from a straight A juvenile delinquent, you said in your article, to furnishing industry.
So the reason I say straight A juvenile delinquent, again, as I just alluded to, my brother and I we were left to our own devices quite a bit. So you've got a 12 and 13, and then a 13 and 14, and then a 14 and 15, so on year-old boy at home with really not a lot of supervision. We liked getting into fun, non-harmful mischief, I would say. Nothing that's going to land you in prison necessarily, but just bending, twisting rules, things like that, carrying pranks maybe a little bit too far now and again, having fun. This was back in the 70s, so fun was different than it is today.
Definitely.
You know, nobody was going to get killed or hurt by anything that we did.
Mm-hmm.
We just caused a little bit of trouble. And then my path to the home furnishings industry is I grew up in it. I liked it. I thought it was kind of neat. It was kind of fun. I had an opportunity from UC Santa Barbara, where I attended college, to take a quarter off and move over to Hawaii and attend 2 summer school sessions, at the University of Hawaii. And my dad at that point asked me, it was part of his territory, hey, you want to try and sell some stuff for me when you're over there?
Mm-hmm.
I did. I bought a motorcycle, and I kind of cruised the island with my backpack and some things, and I enjoyed it. And I thought it would be a fun industry. I had a nighttime. I actually had a couple businesses in college, but they were very nighttime oriented. And when I graduated college, I brought one of those nighttime businesses, which was a security company, down to Newport Beach, which is where I lived, and where I moved after college, and where I still live, and where I will always live, for that matter. And the home furnishings industry was a great daytime industry, and I started my career as a sales rep back in 1984.
What made you, was it make the switch that was the opportunity your dad gave you?
You know, again, just having grown up in it and knowing a lot of his friends and meeting some of his customers, I just thought it was a fun industry filled with a lot of creative people. Mm-hmm. And I even recognized as a teenager that there was opportunity. I'm going to say better and worse once again, a serial entrepreneur. And I love thinking about things, starting new things, following a path, actually taking it to fruition. And as I looked at that business, my crystal ball told me that there was a lot of opportunity, and a lot of opportunity to go down different roads, mm-hmm. some that had been done before and some that I could chart my own course. And that really appealed to me.
Okay. What does TIGER mean to you?
I love it. So TIGER, it's the acronym for the core values of Bassman Blain. Mm-hmm. And we take them really seriously. We haven't always been great at it, but we've been great at it for the past 5 or 6 years or so. And I'll credit my wife, Terry, mm-hmm. who joined our company as our chief culture officer years ago. And some people would say, well, what does that even mean? And people would think, is that planning birthday parties and things like that? But no, it's really planning strategy and process and compassion and accountability. And within that exercise, we decided, well, we've been in business already well over 30 years, but we didn't really have a mission. Mm-hmm. We didn't have what we call our why, and we certainly didn't have true core values. So our leadership team at that time worked for many months on this. We'd go into one of our conference rooms and throw up the typical things on the board, and we landed with 4 at that time, and they were respect, integrity, mm-hmm. teamwork, and excellence. Who doesn't like those, right?
Yeah.
All right, but we really took them super seriously. And gosh, so we thought, okay, and they spelled right, R-I-T-E. And maybe 6 months or so later, we really thought one was missing. I am a growth guy. I'm going to go back to Tony Robbins again. One of my favorite of his many cliches or lines is, if you're not growing, you're dying. I mean, look mm-hmm. at a flower, a tree, something like that. So we thought, well, we got to add growth. Let's add growth. So we put growth on the end. So we had R-I-T-E-G. And then one of our designers, someone on our design team, looked at it and she said, you know, if you kind of flip these around a little bit, it spells tiger.
Yeah.
Well, would you please ask me what my favorite animal in the whole world is?
It's a tiger.
It's a tiger. Yeah. So we flipped it around and it's tiger, and we really have a lot of fun with tiger. We do tiger of the month. We do tiger of the quarter. We do tiger of the year. We have our core values, our mission, our why posted all over the place. And now, years into it, we have an amazing culture. In fact, we got 2 great awards this year. We were identified as one of the best places to work in Orange County, California, mm-hmm. which is really cool. And we just won that same award within the furniture industry as one of the top 10 companies in the furniture industry to work at. Mm-hmm. And I love it. And now we talk about it, we strategize about it, we hire to it, we train to it. So Tiger for me is huge. And I'm going to tell you, those are not only the core values in our business, those are pretty much the core values in our lives as well.
Do you think the definition of any of your 5 core values is the same for everybody in the organization? Do you understand? I do a lot of mission action plans for different organizations, and when we usually start building a mission we call it a mission action plan. People don't really know. They say we want to be happy, we want to be the biggest, we want to grow a lot. To take one of your examples, what is that? What does it mean for your business plan?
Do I think it means the same thing for everybody? Absolutely not. Okay. Nothing, in my opinion, means the same thing for everybody. However, with that being said, this is talked about often. We do a tremendous amount of, with intent, personal and professional growth and development within our company. We are always referring to, alluding to, talking about the core values. Again, if you walked around our pretty outstanding offices, you would see these posted often. But the words aren't just posted. What each one means or what we thought they mean is posted as well. Mm-hmm. But with all that said, there's no way it means the same thing to everybody. Okay. I can only hope, right?
Yeah. Now, you started as a 70s straight A juvenile delinquent. What would you say to somebody like that, a straight A juvenile delinquent that's dreaming nowadays about starting business?
Well, I would say probably the same thing to anybody that's young and ambitious about starting a business, whether they were straight A juvenile delinquent or a straight C complete goody two-shoes. And I do this. I'm very thankful and grateful that I have the opportunity to mentor and coach at 2 universities here in Orange County, and I love it. And I would say follow your heart, follow your passion. Really, if the old quote, I'm not sure who coined this one, I love it as well. If you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. Mm-hmm. I'm sure we've all heard that before. Yeah. So you really couldn't pay me enough. Well, maybe you could pay me enough, but you probably wouldn't pay me enough money to sell or market or produce widgets that meant nothing to me. Mm-hmm. So it's fun to enjoy the product or service that you're going to embark upon. You know as well, if not better than I, it's a lot of work to be an entrepreneur, mm-hmm. especially at the beginning. So if you can have the passion for it and enjoy what you're doing and surround yourself with hopeful, like-minded people, even though at the beginning, quite likely it's just going to be you, mm-hmm. make it something that floats your boat, something that is going to get you excited to get out of the bed in the morning, whether that's a passion project or just something that you think fills a void or a need, or you have an idea that you can do something better or differently.
Ken, I know it's off script, but you're a serial entrepreneur. What can we expect from you in the next year or so?
Wow. Now, I wish you would ask me that question 20 years ago, because I just turned 60, and I still have a lot of energy and a lot of enthusiasm for what I do, but it's different as we morph, and I go into maybe a little bit more preservation mode in certain respects, mm-hmm. but we always have fun initiatives. Really what we're working on now is how do we truly give back to the design community. And what I say about that, I'm talking about the community of interior designers. We have many, many thousands of interior designers that are our customers, and tens of thousands that we market to that are not yet our customers. How can we come up with more ways to help them in their business is really what we're working on with quite a few of our new initiatives, because most of that profession is what I call a solopreneur, a one man or more often one woman show, mm-hmm. working out of her home, not a lot of barrier to entry, and it's becoming more and more increasingly difficult for them to make a good living. And we have so much experience within this industry, and really every part of it we've had an active business in. So we're looking to take that to them and again, I'm going to leave you with one more quote. Right? I'll ask you a question. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, it's one of my favorite. How do you really get what you want?
I would say doing what you like doing.
And I love that answer. And I would say helping as many people as possible get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the mission. And that's what we're bringing to market even right now with a couple new initiatives. So if you say over the next year, these will both have come to fruition at that point. And hopefully we can help the interior design trade. And there's about 100,000 registered interior designers in the U.S.
Yeah.
So it's not 100 million or even a million, but if we can impact a percentage of that and help them have a greater degree of financial stability and success in their industry with things that they wouldn't have thought otherwise, that'll be a really successful year for us.
Absolutely. And when I started, I'll take the chance to show the book, EXO Leaders. That's why we're doing this interview. People said, why don't we donate money to scholarships? I honestly didn't think a book could turn a profit. So I was quick to say, absolutely, let's give it to scholarships if we do turn a profit. And once I'd taken that decision, I said, if we can just help one person, we can change one life, that's enough for the work I've done that year with the book.
I love it.
So changing one life per year is enough. We do help a lot more than one.
Absolutely.
Thank God.
Absolutely.
But why was it important for you, Ken, to participate in EXO Leaders?
Well, I was asked, and I thought it's my responsibility. It's a pay it forward. Yeah. The reason, and this question didn't come up, but the reason that I think I can be impactful as a leader or a mentor or a coach or an entrepreneur is because of the many, many, many mistakes that I've made and we've made. Mm-hmm. And because of those, it's much easier to help somebody else avoid them. So really that would be paying it forward and hoping that whether they read it or listen to it, or not that we dove into the mistakes, but there are many that will help them think about their business or their opportunity perhaps a little bit more critically.
Yeah. Well, in this book, we have a chapter called, If I Could Write a Letter to Myself, I Would Say This.
I love it.
We have actually a similar chapter titled for next year's book. I hope you're going to participate. And there you can tell a little bit about your mistakes along the way that people can learn from.
It'd have to be a big book.
It's going to be as long as it needs to be.
Perfect.
Well, thank you very much for participating in this interview. Hope to see you next year. Also, your words, your authorship, and which is inspiring. And thank you very much for participating.
Thank you.